Hi, social miners. So thanks, guys, for being here. But Alexis, the floor is yours.
I'm really glad to have this chance to talk to Shuyong, whom I've known from a long time from the NEM Hub times, and is a terrific person to explain us more about social mining, because that's actually my first question. For about 3 or 4 years, you've been into social mining. How did you end up there?
When I was a very young age, I was always interested in computer science. Like I had my computer when I was 10 years old. And then I saw something very interesting. It's called open source software, Linux. So it really caught my eye. I was like, okay, this concept of decentralized collaboration is really amazing. And then I dig more into it. I become a moderator of some open source software forums, and I start to understand more about it, and I love it more. And slowly, after my graduation of universities, my friend introduced me something called Bitcoin. So I actually dig into it. I was like, wow, this is a perfect decentralized collaboration on creating monies. And that's how I actually got into the blockchain. And my first job in blockchain was working with a company called crowdholding, which focusing also on open collaborations by assigning tasks to people, and then they get token reward in return. And after crowdholding, I start to work with DAO Maker, working with the DAO Maker team to actually doing research and operation of a thing they developed called social mining, which is I consider as one of the most advanced decentralized collaboration platform so far, and one of the most elegant way of like doing open collaboration that actually can include different expertise, not just developer, not just miners, but also graphic designer, article creators. So basically focusing on all type of content curation. So that's how I actually got into social mining, because it really interests me in this way.
And that's terrific that you mentioned DAO Maker. Because I think for a fact that DAO Maker is a successful story into DAO terms. But the thing is, what makes a DAO a good DAO?
So as we all know, I think in the history, the first organization that claimed to be a DAO is actually called a DAO. It was in 2016. They actually raised $150 million in the Ethereum. But sadly, the project failed because of a hack. It was a security vulnerability of their smart contract that the funds were stolen. And they also caused the Ethereum fork from Ethereum to Ethereum ETH and Ethereum Classic ETC. This is really similar to the recent Terra fork as well. The reason that it got forked because the DAO in 2016, they actually have, I think they hold around 14% of the Ethereum circulation. So they actually really need to fork this whole blockchain in order to actually save the asset. So as you can see, the biggest challenge on step one already the security challenge. Like everybody always say blockchain is secure, but you know that's not an accurate statement, as there no system is 100% secure. There are always vulnerability, especially with smart contract. You have to encode the logic. If there's some mistakes, they can affect users a lot, because it's not blockchain smart contract is not a normal technology. It's not like Facebook got hacked, they just lost the user data. A blockchain, a smart contract got hacked, people will lose real money. Of course, that depends how you define money. But to me, if an asset is liquid, that is money. So security problem is always number one problem in creating DAOs, because you rely on the token, which is represent the weight of the power. I rely on the smart contract that actually executes all the pre-encoded logics. So for DAO to be successful, to be good, the number one focus is you need to have a strong technical background, that you have to have a mindset of security to make sure the DAO is not going to fall apart when the hacker tries something. And another problem will be manipulation and collusions. And those manipulations are also done by the big players. For example, someone in 2018, they actually disclosed a conspiracy about the EOS voting. There are also some other problems. One of the problems I see the most is lack of participation in the DAO. I said it before, because the DAO become the playground of the VCs and the big token holder like whales. So small token holder not matter anymore in this case. So they have very low participant rate. Another reason for this is also their lack of fair incentives. This is also a very important problem, is that many blockchain projects, the team behind them, they are very skilled in development. They are highly technical. They can develop something crazy like Uniswap protocol. It's really amazing. But they don't have a mindset in the economics thinking. They don't know what is game theory. So the token metrics and the DAO structure they created is not fit for the masses to participate. So that's the mindset of the blockchain in general, actually. Like nobody doing anything, only the team and dedicated supporters are doing something to grow the ecosystem, and the rest just benefit from that.
I was thinking about the word opportunity, and we can
so
take
much for a
advantage
masterclass
from this word to talk about social mining. So we all know that the crypto industry needs a better mechanism to incentivize community building and influence that is decentralized and supports projects for the long run. So can you first of all refresh the audience on what social mining is, and tell us in your words how it could be a solution and how it could meet such urgent demands?
Well, to understand social mining, I suggest to start with two perspectives. One is a business who actually operates social mining platform, who provide the funds to the users. And then is the community itself who actually work and receive those rewards from the pool. From the business perspective, social mining is highly beneficial because a business, especially a blockchain business, a blockchain project, always has a pool of community. You can track Ethereum, you can track Bitcoin, you can track Dogecoin, you can track Uniswap. They all have a large community online. So why for the business to hire some people, don't know them, to pay money to agency, or for example, marketing agency, who doesn't understand them at all? Instead, they should pay the people who actually from the community, because the community is a pool of talent. So that's what social mining is about. It's help the business to connect with their community in a deeper level, because in this way, you can utilize community to be your workers. So that's from business perspective, what is social mining. From the user perspective, namely communities or the networks, is that the community can actually support the project they like through the micro contributions. It's not like a proper job. You work 8 hours a day or 5 days a week. For social mining, you can get micro rewards through micro contributions by working a few hours a day or even a few hours a week, just on some small tasks. So in this way, you get additional income, additional revenue stream. And for us, because we don't have a token, so we give user reward in BUSD. But for other social mining platforms like Avax, Polygon, or even some old social mining platform which already completed, such as NAM, Iron. So people work, they can actually get a project native token. So they're actually a speculative opportunity or investment opportunity there, is that user can actually hold this token when they get reward, and then they can wait for bull market or wait for the project to grow bigger, and then they can liquidate to actually benefit the most. So that's the two ways to see social mining, from the business perspective and from the community perspective. So it's like they mutually benefit each other. So they should actually work together.
The thing is that we now are moving towards quadratic voting.
Yes.
And that's a key feature of our social mining V2 version 2 of all of it. That's a way of improving it. How can you explain that to all our audience?
To understand quadratic voting, we have to understand why do we need it. It's not a problem. It's a very general problem in the democracy in blockchain, basically, because as I mentioned in the question 1, all the projects, all the DAOs relies on token holdings. So that means the more token you hold, the more votes you will have. And we had the same situation in social mining. A few years ago, we were working with NAM, and we provide social mining to NAM, and we enabled community voting. So basically, the community can actually validate other people's contribution and decide how much token they're going to receive. But there is a problem with such a settings, is that there are always some big whales, and they always dictate the voting process that makes small token holders not powerful enough. For example, a whale can hold 1 million tokens, and he has 1 million votes. A normal user maybe a retail user, for example, everyday person who actually go to a normal job, has minimum paid, he can maybe have 100 tokens, so he can only get 100 votes. So in this case, the big whale had 10,000 times more power than the small holders. So no matter how many small holders participate, it seems the decision always dictated by the big holders. So in this case, the big holders is only matters in the decision making, and small holders doesn't matter, and they will start to leave the DAO because why do I participate if my vote doesn't matter? So to fix this problem, we want to introduce something called quadratic voting. So some people may heard of quadratic voting from Bitcoin, which was talked about a lot by Vitalik Buterin also. So quadratic voting has very similar ideas to quadratic funding. So basically, we introduced something called the voting credits. So basically, each token represents the voting credits. So 100, if you hold 100 token, you have 100 voting credits. If you are whale, you have 1 million token, you hold 1 million voting credits. But for each vote, they don't cost 1 voting credit. For each vote, it costs 1 vote costs 1 to the power of 2 voting credits. For example, if you want to make 1 vote, you have to spend 1 times 1, which is 1 credits. For 2 votes, you have to spend 2 times 2, which is 4 voting credits. So for 100 votes, you have to spend 100 times 100, which is, I think, 10,000. I'm not sure, 10,000 voting credits. So in this case, we highly reduce the voting power of whales when they vote to single proposal, or single activity, or single events. So in this way, small token holder actually matters. So just use the same example I used before, 100 token holders versus million token holders. So in this case, 100 million token holders can only dedicate 1,000 votes to a single proposal or single activity, because 1,000 times 1,000 equal to 1 million. And for 100 token holders, he can only dedicate 10 votes because it's 10 times 10 equal to 100. So 10 votes versus 1,000 votes. So the difference now is reduced to 100 instead of 10,000. So in this way, the quadratic voting is more fair, and it actually forced the large token holder to not vote everything into single proposal. They had to split their votes to multiple proposals. So this is perfect for social mining, because social mining is very active and people submit a lot of submissions. So actually, the big token holder cannot just push one user up, but instead of to save their voting credits, they had to push multiple people that is they consider good. So that's the good thing about quadratic voting. And of course, it's not perfect. Of course, it also has some problems, because, for example, I own 1 million tokens. Instead, I put into one user account, I can split them into, I don't know, 10,000 accounts. So in this way, I can compete with these 100 token voters again. So the way we're gonna fix this problem is the three ways basically. First, to create 10,000 accounts, that's inhuman, because nobody can make 10,000 accounts with just their hands. So they're gonna use some bots probably, right?
Go figure that. Yeah.
Everybody has a bot. Our platform has a bot problem. So to prevent this, of course, we're gonna use a bot prevention. So to prevent bot creating meaningless accounts, and of course, we're gonna also introduce KYC. This is not idealistic, but KYC is a good way to actually prevent people creating multiple accounts. And the last is to introduce something called social trust graph. Social trust graph means we measure user trust. So for example, if a user connect Twitter, connect LinkedIn, connect Facebook, he connect all the social medias. So he has more trust than the user didn't connect any of their channels. If a user get voted by more people than others, the person will have more social trust. So in this way, we only allow user to have enough social trust to participate in the voting, to avoid multiple account situation. For example, a new account will not be able to actually make any votes. So this is the idea of quadratic voting, and also something along the new feature. We also want to introduce this new social trust system to actually make the voting more healthy and prevent multiple accounts, which is very common in many software.
Yeah, you just talked about one of the features of the multi-chain social mining hub V2,
Mm-hmm.
The new platform we are currently work on. Can you please explain why we are currently implementing the platform and what will change for users, and what does being multi-chain mean, and what will be the new features we are going to see on that, apart from the ones you already said?
To be honest, social mining already support a lot of blockchains already. We support non-blockchain, we support Iron blockchain, we support Avalanche, we support Polygon now, and of course we support Ethereum and BSC, Binance Smart Chain. The multi-chain in V2 is slightly different. It's something very similar to inter-blockchain communication. We actually want this multiple social mining platform from multiple blockchains that they can actually communicate from each other. For example, you earn, let's say, 10 reputations in DAOVERSE, and you earn 20 reputations in Polygon Hub. So when you want to go to a new social mining platform, the reputation you earn from other social mining platform going to be matter to you, because you already prove in the ecosystem that you are valuable users. So that's something we want to do in the future, is that we want to integrate multiple blockchains, and they can multiple platforms, they can communicate each other to provide actually a layer of validation to users who already had experience with social mining, who already had reputations in other social mining platforms. So this is something we're going to do. Besides of this, we also want to simplify the integration of social mining as well. So since we support multiple blockchain, so there are a lot of projects from these blockchains. For example, in the Terra blockchain, there's a Mirror protocol, there are Anchor. On the Ethereum blockchain, there are Uniswap, there are Compound, there are MakerDAO. So we want to ease the integration for different DApp from different blockchains. So they can easily actually, it's like creating an account on Facebook. So they can easily create a business account on social mining. So it's like a plug and play. So they just put in the information of their blockchain, like Ethereum blockchain, what's the token standard, what kind of token, what's the token contract, and how much token they want to put. So they can easily actually create these social mining programs. And users' data from this social mining program will be also communicated through different platforms. So that's the multi-chain social mining in V2.
Can you please explain how ILO will help with that?
Sure. Of course, because the internet, because the computer, because smartphones, the crowdfunding becomes super popular. I don't know, like maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So I think everybody knows about Kickstarters. It's a very famous crowdfunding platform. That's a very early version of crowdfunding, and it has a lot of problems. It is not perfect at all, Kickstarters. One of the example of their model problem is that I think everybody knows about the VR company called Oculus. They actually started from Kickstarters, and they are now today is a $1 billion company. So at the beginning, all the people from Kickstarter, they actually donate their money to Kickstarter, to Oculus. And in return, Oculus only offered them a product, which is the VR set at a discount. So this is a very bad way of doing crowdfunding, because the crowdfunder didn't get any equity. And look today, Oculus is a $1 billion company, and all the early investors, they get nothing but just a product. So this is really not encouraging for the crowdfunding. So this must be changed, because without giving user equities, those crowdfunders actually being excluded from the company's growth. So that's really unfair. So that's why ICOs came into place. Because in initial coin offering, I think the most famous one is the Ethereum ICOs. That was in 2014. I think they sold around 60 million Ethereums to the public, and they get 32,000 Bitcoins in return. To 32,000 Bitcoins as the investment to kickstart the project. So at that time, these 60,000 million of Ethereum worth around $18 million. And today, if the people still hold this, it's worth around 100 billion. But last year, it was around 180 billion. But now, because the market is bad, so it's only about 100 billion. So as you can see, ICO model provide much more benefits to the ICO participant than Kickstarter participant. So to me, when I saw ICO, when I saw the Ethereum ICO, and I was like, oh, this is a revolution. Basically, it allow people like us, everyday people, normal household, to actually participate in the crowdfunding, participate in the investment opportunity of a project at the early stage with a small investment, and you can benefit from that because the token will grow to 5,000x, for example, like Ethereum. So that was really amazing because that actually opened the equity finance into the masses. But of course, token is not equity, but token do represent the value of a project in the crypto space.
But speaking of which, we all of that we show that on our task, and we have plenty of those ongoing. I mean, is there any of those tasks in particular that you favorite? How have you seen participation? How do you like that?
I think in general the participation of DAOVERSE, which is our social mining platform, actually I really like some people's contribution. They are really high quality. The DAOVERSE is still new. We've been launched, I think, March 25th. So March 25th is the birthday of DAOVERSE. So we have to remember this.
Okay, keep that in mind, people. Keep that in mind, please. Okay.
So we are less than 1 year old, but I hope we will go much further than this.
Yeah, and talking about great submissions and great contributions, we have to mention the social miner of the hour, which is our live MA focused on great users. Basically, we do every week an interview dedicated to someone who stands out for his or her successful work, the special talents, the efforts and time they use for in a project. So it's really interesting, and I'm really happy to lead these interviews and to know those special people from the community from around the world. And what I see from these interviews is that almost all of them, they said that social mining is able to bring up their hidden talents, and that's amazing. So we are doing great. Let's continue grow together and stay tuned, because the new social miner of the hour is going to be announced soon.
Regarding that, I also want to add some comments, maybe a note. So for those who participate in social mining now, who get the points and reputations, in the future, they will be able to exchange this to actually our labor tokens. So this is something actually I forgot to say after talking about the problem with VCs, problem with initial coin offering, problem with crowdfunding models, is that for those who actually work hard, they're gonna get initial labor offerings of our labor tokens. So basically, we try to decentralize the investment opportunities to the people who actually contribute, to the masses who actually doesn't have money, but they do have time and talent, and those who actually dedicate to learn and to contribute. And for their contribution, they're gonna receive micro allocations. So why micro allocations? Because we want to give this token to as many people as possible who actually are useful. In this way, there are no whale movement who can actually dump on people, and there are no VCs who can actually damage our ecosystem to protect our holders' benefits. And of course, we always want to give the best opportunity of our tokens to the best contributors at the best price possible, not to the VCs. Thank you.
Yeah.
This guy's not messing around, right? No, not at all.
Okay, guys, this episode is almost over. I would like to thank you, Shuyong and Alexis, for being here with me, and thank you all the social miners from the community.
No. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Shuyong, for that intervention. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the community as well.
No. See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.